et cetera, et cetera. He has to go give his acceptance speech. He walks out of the building, and a guy who's actually a big fan of his, but didn't think any president should serve 3 terms. Washington only did 2. It used to be very clear. Do you think you're better than George Washington? Theodore Roosevelt was the first to really kind of challenge that, and one of his supporters didn't think that was right, so he came up to him and he said, "Mr. President." And Roosevelt turned and he shot him right here, okay? Should have killed him, but he didn't, because he gave extraordinarily long speeches and wrote them out. He also, his glasses, he kept in a leather case. Right here, his glasses and his speech. Shoots him, and everybody freaks out. "Mr. President, Mr. President." He takes out a handkerchief and he says, "Hold on." Takes out a handkerchief. He first pulls his hand out and there's blood all over his hand. Then he pulls his handkerchief out. He coughs in it 3 times and looks at it each time. And he's like, they just pinked me. He was checking to see if there was any blood in his lungs. What had happened is the bullet had slowed down enough to where it lodged between 2 of his ribs. He died years later with that bullet still in him. He then said, as everybody's freaking out, "I got to go give a speech." And he buttoned up his jacket and he walked on stage. He pulled his speech out of his pocket, which had bullet holes in it. And he said, let me talk to you here. He had about a 90-minute speech. He said, "But I don't know how much wind power I have because somebody just shot me." And everybody did that. They laughed. They thought he was joking. And about halfway through, he's giving the speech and he does this, and the blood is all over his shirt. The crowd gasps, and he said, "What? I told you someone tried to shoot me." He said, "But it takes more than that to kill a bull moose." Okay? These are his glasses, and that is his speech that had been folded over, and you'll see the 2 bullet holes. This is the last page of his speech.
I did not know that Teddy Roosevelt had been shot. I had no idea that he had ever been shot, and so to see the letter with the bullet holes in it and everything, amazing. I had no idea of that history. I toured the Smithsonian a couple of months ago back in Washington, D.C., and coming here and seeing this display gives you a totally different perspective of what American history was. You get more of the true history here.
To see the original documents, so that they know it's not just coming from their parents, what their parents want them to hear, but that they can see for themselves the true history of our country is pretty amazing.
I really appreciated how it was laid out. It made it really clear, and especially taking my 12-year-old through that, because he was really, his eyes were opened, especially on some of the parts that were more graphic.
The wheelchair of one of our presidents, just random things that are really incredible.
Things that would make you cry, things that make you laugh, seeing just the Enigma machine, seeing Nazis in Madison Square Garden. I had no idea that ever happened, that we had American propaganda for furthering the perfection of the white race as recent as not even like 100 years ago. The props that they had for Mengele just made me cry. And it's insane that for as much as progress that we think we've made over the past few hundred years, that there's still unbelievable things that we'll do to another human being. It's crazy.
The biggest change, by the way, that's one of the first electric chairs. I invite you to learn about Tesla and Edison. I hate Edison. He was a horrible, horrible man. Horrible man. Read just a little bit about the hanging elephant and you'll understand. But this is the beginning of the progressive era with Theodore Roosevelt. Something changed in the 1800s in mankind. You could have all kinds of racist points of view, but you never had science proving that point of view until you get to Origin of the Species and then The Descent of Man. Now you have science telling you there are subhumans. So if you have subhumans, well, then maybe we should separate. Maybe I'm better than that person. All kinds of things start to open up, all bad. This is where we get this image. This is from the book, the 5 series of 5 books here in this case, from Woodrow Wilson, The History of the American People. 5 volumes. He completely leaves out any black patriot, any positive black. This is the picture or engraving of a black person, obviously subhuman. Once you turn that in, everything changes. I'm going to take you into the Red Room. The first place that you will stop is something that Woodrow Wilson premiered in the White House 2 times. It's called Birth of a Nation by D.W. Griffith. It is nothing but holding the Klan up, saying the Klan saved our nation. Come on.
Well, because I do watch Glenn Beck and I do find an importance in history over the last 8 years I started, it reinforced it. So it wasn't just, oh, mom's talking about that again. Mom said this, mom's talking about that. But now he's actually got like actual documentation, history to follow up with it. So it's just a reinforcement that I'm not just making stuff up.
I'm aware of some of the negative things that we've done, but the way that it makes me feel worse about in America is that we don't tell people about. I didn't learn this in school. I didn't learn it in junior high school. I didn't learn it in high school. It's from reading when I became an adult. And it's not secret information. It's not hidden information. It's just information we decide to not teach kids in public school. We want to talk about horrible things that America has done, but we don't give the whole context or all the details.
There's so much that is being distorted. And so we've had a lot of conversations, my son and I, throughout this whole exhibit. And he's like, well, I heard this and I heard that. And I was like, you have to dig more to get the real true history to make sure that what you're learning is the truth. I loved that it was youth teaching about a lot of the exhibits. I thought that was really special because they are the next generation.
And it's nice that he's preserved all of this so that we have actual evidence that we can show our children.
I feel inspired, empowered, really, kind of a sense of needing to speak out and to stand for freedom and kind of figure out what my part is in all of this and go do it, go to work, go to battle, really.
I want to talk to you about one of our sponsors, and I love my sponsors because I choose them. I reject a lot of sponsors, and Jace Medical is one of those that really kind of started with us, and they do amazing work. They're actually here at the museum. They, without asking for anything, actually spent the money to help defray the cost of some of this museum. They're great people. Anyway, they have the Jace case out that I've told you for a while. Holds 5 of the most important antibiotics for emergency use. But I'm happy to announce they're launching a new product, Jace Daily. It is a prescription supply service that allows you to get up to a 12-month backup supply of your prescription medication in case of an emergency or a supply chain breakdown. Cover everything, really. Cholesterol, diabetes, heart, blood pressure, mental health, you name it. They can help you get a full year and have it in your home or wherever you're going to protect it and keep it safe. Go to jacemedical.com. That's Jace, Jase medical.com. Make sure you use the promo code Beck at checkout for a discount. The